2. Alright guys, quiet down. Continuous because the top is continuous and the bottom is continuous. The only place where it's discontinuous is 1 and 3. You guys next had number 12?
Yep.
Okay. Question though, why are they called infinite discontinuities?
Because they're good.
Because they're vertical asymptotes, so the limits as they come in are infinite. Good. Number 12, yeah? Yes, f of 1 equals 1, and b, yes, limit equals 2.
There's 2 more.
C is no, and D is no. The function does exist, the limit does exist, but they do not equal each other.
Huh.
Yeah, they didn't put anything on this one. Number next one.
20.
X equals 2, and it's removable. How? Make f of 2 equal 1 in the piecewise, then it would all be better.
Oh, that's how you...
You can assign a piecewise, you can fill the hole, you can make the point be at 1 instead, and then you would have it. Was there a C or D, or just A and B?
Maybe.
Okay, number next one. What was 24A's question?
Find discontinuity.
Oh, okay, so X cannot equal 1 or 2? As long as it's in the domain. Do you guys see how they didn't necessarily describe what the domain did not include? They just said, oh, well, obviously, the points that are not in the domain, and then not 1 or 2. That's a good way of putting it. And then B, 1 is not removable, 2 is removable, similar to number 20. You can just fill the hole. Number next one? The extended function. Oh, that's the name of it, extended function. I couldn't remember it yesterday. The extended function, sine of 4x over x, but then if you take the limit is 4. So if you assign the value to be 4, then you have filled the hole. You have made it continuous. Good?
Yeah.
Stop throwing things. What else?
Yes? What?
It's just creativity.
I'm sorry.
I like the last.
I apologize.
Who else has a possible answer?
I got a piecewise function when it goes like this.
It's exactly like that, but it's not in line with this.
You can do piecewise functions for all of those, can't you?
That makes it right.
No?
That's what was it.
I don't know why it doesn't work.
It was working at one point.
I know. Did anybody not use linear?
I just...
I did like.
I made mine kind of curvy, but I'm like, it was piecewise, so.
No.
No.
Lucy, it's okay with the Russian.
It's totally not working. Oh well. Wait, Lucy, what do you think they meant? You're my hero. Go team. Alright, anything else, guys? And then...
That's it.
That's
Okay,
it?
it's the last question you gave us.
Alright. A equals 3. We got it?
I got it.
This is the reason why you should...
Yeah.
Alright, let me see the front. You guys did hard work on this, even with the contest today. You deserve points.
Yeah, Katrina!
Yep.
What'd you do?
You were reading something.
She was watching, she was looking like she was writing it down.
I did the homework from yesterday.
This was yesterday.
This one, yeah.
2 days ago.
So sad, but I already said it. Nice.
I did.
Alright, guys, grab out notes. We'll see you have to find her the other one.
Gabby?
City council president.
You okay?
Are you okay? Why not? What's wrong? How can I help?
No.
No?
No, my friend.
Should I just stop reading?
Yeah.
That'll help.
Alright guys, ready to start taking notes as I start grade. Can we get it done? You'll get one out of two. Alright. Wait, where all the homework's going? I said I can't just not do it. I already said I was doing it.
I thought you already looked at it.
Oh, I thought
I thought you
I looked at half the class.
Oh, we did related rates. I love related rates. Oh, whoops.
We're doing kind of motion.
Oh.
This is homework number 5? Yeah.
So not really. It says 6.
You're okay.
It's homework number 6.
I woke up and I thought I was getting sick, and I was like, oh my gosh, no. I'm like, I need someone to hide the NyQuil in my house.
Can't get it.
Bad things are gonna happen. Honestly, I'm not okay.
One day you'll be back like that. So that's Miss
I'm sick, and like, she was telling me today how good NyQuil tastes. I'm like, I swear this is how you Wait, this is recording.
Is it against school rules to wear a polo like this? I'm technically wearing my polo. Like, is there anyone that says you have to have your polo fully on? Oh, homework, sorry.
Don't you remember what we studied today? You read the handbook?
Oh, of course not. Who has ever read that handbook?
Why aren't you guys taking notes?
But I need it.
All of you guys who don't have it, it's okay. Remember, I have built-ins to help. Number 1, this is only 2 points out of the entire homework category. And number 2, you can get one of them back if you show it to me fully attempted at a later point. Sooner the better.
I was about to know comp.
It's 2 points out of 6
Okay, Alan.
points. Have fun failing.
How'd that chem test go though?
Multiple choice was fine, and then I died in that first.
They did good food today.
I finished everything.
Who else got baking in?
lunchtime.
Oh, just you 3?
Whenever they take a test, you give them food, their lunch. Make some food.
That's the only
I was
point,
taking
that's the
the
whole
test
point
and I
of the
smelled the
class.
food, and I was like,
Yeah, I know.
The Carolina.
That's the only point.
Yeah, are you okay? What's wrong?
That's like
Why? What's wrong?
Use the weekend, get caught up.
What did I do?
That's the reason why I look forward to test
Give me the death scan and stop talking to you.
It was on the board.
It's alright. It's only 3 weeks in and your parents are alive.
cream cheese.
Depends how far we get today, hopefully. Alright, cool kids. Everybody's here today, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, you okay, Arlene?
Are you okay, Cobb?
I'm so triggered right now.
Okay, everybody needs to stop talking because AP Chem has tests. They're kind of just hanging in there.
You didn't do that for us.
Other people had other hard times.
You didn't do that last year, Mr.
And if you're stressed, tell me to be quiet. No, I don't know what you're talking about, sorry.
Oh,
What did I do last year?
you didn't, for AP Chem last year, you didn't
Give us a
let
break.
us relax and.
Oh, I'm not letting you relax, I'm just saying you need to stop bragging on each other.
Yeah, you're right. They're getting a massage right now. They're totally relaxing.
I'm saying be nice. Hopefully I encourage
When do I
niceness
ever not
last
be
year.
nice? I don't know why that.
Did I not encourage niceness?
I don't know, that's like.
Number 3, be considerate. Alright. Okay, kiddos, believe it or not, I was actually serious. Here we go. Rates of change, tangents, and sensitivity. One of these is new, right? One of these is not like the other. Anyway, so. Alright, so, graphically, average rate, what are we talking about? Slope of a? Average rate. Rate between 2 times. Rate over a time interval. 2 points, meaning what kind of line?
Great.
There we go. No. Secant line.
Wait, you see.
Because remember, average rate, it's over T within A to B. There are 2 points. True, not just one?
That's not referring to the secant, like, the trig, right?
No.
Yeah. that's what-
Secant line as in a line that cuts through a curve.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Instantaneous rate is at t equals a, 1 point,
Tangent line.
tangent, secant in comparison to tangent.
I'm so proud of you, Noah.
Okay, too cool.
So, does it make sense when I say all of these are the same and I added one at the bottom? The slope of f at a, the slope of the tangent to f at a, the instantaneous rate of, and they might not even say instantaneous, they might just say the rate at a, or the limit as h approaches 0 of f of a plus h minus f of a over h, or the limit as x approaches a of f of x minus f of a all over x minus a. All of these refer to, true?
Yeah, should we talk it out now?
Well, only if you would not necessarily recognize one of them, or two of them, or four of them, or five of them. If they say the rate at, if they say the slope at, if they say the slope, well, they'd say it two different ways. One's just the slope, one's the slope of the tangent. They don't have to say tangent, they can just say at. They don't have to say instantaneous, they can just say at. And both of these are variations of the definition of derivative that some of us, to be honest, just, it's hard to recognize sometimes, right? But all of these refer to f prime of a. Write down what you need. I understand if you don't need it all, but write down what you need. I don't think I like, I don't think I want them to be red. Alright, you guys ready? Ooh, this is fun. You don't have to write it down though.
No, no.
Has anyone ever asked me what the word normal means when it comes up in a problem?
No.
Oh, yes, you have. What does the word normal mean? Perpendicular.
Really?
No.
No?
Does anybody know who, someone in French, say his name?
Pierre de Fermat.
Sure. So, I'll just say Fermat. So Fermat's last theorem, has anybody heard of Fermat's last theorem, one of the millennium?
Of course I have.
The millennium problems? Fermat's last theorem, anyway, look it up. He was a lawyer who worked for the regional parliament in Toulouse, France. He invented his method of tangents. Ooh, tangents. But I just want to give you guys a peek. Your book actually has all kinds of cool history stuff in it. Last year's kind of did. This year's a little bit more academic. But he did come up with tangents. But the dilemma, not the dilemma, what I want you guys to see is he was trying to solve a problem. He came up with the math in order to solve the problem. The problem came up, not the solution. They weren't just randomly sitting around saying, what would be something good to do or to use in math? Same thing with Isaac Newton and with Leibniz. A lot of what they discovered, it was in response to a problem, and they had to figure out, well, I don't have the math isn't around in order to solve this, so what do I do? Anyway, what was the problem he was trying to find? No. The cone of greatest volume that can be formed by cutting a sector out of a circle and then folding the circle to cut the edges. Anyway, interesting. There's a figure that you can see, it's an exploration. But it is interesting that he discovered, yes, the method of tangents, but he did that in order to basically talk about a cone. Anyway, analytic geometry, this is talking about normal because I have a lot of kids always asking me about it. As to why perpendicular is normal is perpendicular when in physics or a math problem. European scientists wrote about their work and ideas in Latin. It was the educated language of the day. I don't know how you say Latin. How do you say Latin? Who took a Latin class? Some classical academies still teach Latin.
Normalist.
Normalist.
What
Which scholars used for perpendicular became normal when they discussed geometry in English. So does normal have anything to do with our English understanding of normal? No, not at all. It comes from Latin. Anyway, that was interesting. Let's keep going. Sensitivity. In Calculus 1, some of the applications that we skipped because you guys had so much to learn that you would have normally seen in a Calculus 1 class. One of the most common applications we skipped was work. The work done by like water flowing into a tank through different densities. As a tank is being drained. Like there are some physics types problems that we did not delve into in calculus because number one, it should come back in physics if you ever have to take it, and number two, we just didn't have time. to apply the calculus anything beyond what the AP asked. But there is an application, since we do have a good understanding of the math at this point, I thought we would look at sensitivity just because it is interesting how one variable responds to small changes in another. We can apply this to life a little bit as well. And the fact that we need to respond to sensitivity in others and we need to be aware of sensitivity in ourselves. That the littlest thing might set us off, or the littlest thing might set someone else off, and that's not necessarily to their discredit, that's something for us to be aware of. And, ironically, maybe something for our class to think about from time to time. As far as their peers, your peers. Sensitivity is not always wrong. Can anyone give me an example of when sensitivity can be a good thing?
Love.
Why? How does sensitivity apply to love?
If you're not sensitive and you don't understand other person's feelings and attitudes,
Okay.
then you might be offending them and love them not exist.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I wouldn't have thought of that. Kyle?
Like someone could be having a bad day and then you do like a small nice thing to them and then they'll lighten it up.
Yeah. If you're sensitive to understanding them or to looking for little changes, some people you can read exactly what's going on. Or they tell you and you're like, okay. But other people you kind of have to be sensitive to being like, something's a little off with them. Maybe I'll try to reach out. Or if someone's sensitive and if you do something small and in kindness, does that mean a lot to them? Yeah, it usually does, right? And if we think about like the Christian walk, if you're sensitive to, well, if you're just sensitive in general, what would be the opposite of sensitive? Calloused, maybe? Apathetic? Uncaring? Or just resilient. Like, it's not necessarily all bad things. Like, you could just be resilient and you could be a little bit less emotional than others, etc. But if you're sensitive in the Christian walk, that means when you mess up, when we mess up, if we're sensitive, we'll respond to that, we'll repent of that, and we'll hopefully avoid what would have happened if we hadn't responded, if we would have kept going. Sensitivity is not always bad. In this application, you guys are already writing down the important information and reading it. Sensitivity to medicine, what are we talking about here?
Cold.
NyQuil.
Kind of. Right? We're talking about how a patient is going to respond to medicine. Why is that important?
Because if you don't respond, they're going to die.
If they're allergic, they can die.
Pharmacists, you have to figure out the dosage, right? And some people react differently, and some people's bodies are more sensitive, and some people's bodies have, you guys know the whole dilemma with antibacterial, right?
Yeah. No.
Yes.
Well, antibiotics or even antibacterial soap and other things like that. Like, we keep on trying to,
Sometimes they'll attack, your body will start attacking itself.
our body's going to start building up
And you get used to it.
immunities towards not just the bad, but also the good that'll help us from the bad. Anyway, all kinds of dilemmas with modern medicine. However, sensitivity, let's get back there. The patient enters, well, first of all, you guys see the equation up above. What's going on here? What does this show me?
A limit.
Okay, a limit, but a limit as it changes goes to 0 of,
When time changes over,
not distance,
Dosage.
dosage. So we have dosage and we have temperature, right?
Yeah.
So we have temperature and we have dosage, that's our T and that's our D. The limit as, doesn't this look kind of like a derivative though?
Yeah.
Interesting. So couldn't this technically be as delta D goes to, couldn't I technically also call this, blessing? Blessing. Isn't that ultimately doing that? And what would that ultimately be? Easton and wouldn't that also be T prime of D?
Yes.
Oh, so that's, okay. So, a patient enters the hospital with a temperature of 102, is given medicine to lower. As a function of the dosage measured in milligrams, the patient's temperature will be. At least this is what they project. Find and interpret the sensitivity of the patient's temperature to the medicine dosage when D equals 1 milligram. So what are we supposed to do? It's as simple as that.
I'll give in, and do that.
Take the derivative, we just want to find T prime of But you see how there was a lot to figure out before we got to, oh, just take the derivative and plug in that? Interesting. And it's another application. You guys are so used to seeing like rates of change and velocities and all that, those sorts of things. Maybe it's interesting to see another application that calculus can help us with. So then what would be the derivative of my function?
3 times bottom b top minus half the bottom all over.
That's one way, but don't we have an easier way of taking the derivative? We could do chain rule, yeah. I didn't write the 99 because in my head I did the derivative and do a 0. They still kind of work.
So negative 3 over 1 plus b squared.
I'm doing it such that d equals 1. So what would that be? Yeah. In context, hold on, that's confusing. What? They're negative sensitive? Wait, what? I don't understand what. Pause. Isn't a derivative a rate? Okay. So what does that indicate? What's decreasing? Look at your variables. Degrees? Fahrenheit? Per? Milligram.
Wait, this thing?
Yeah.
Where did the denominator go?
Oh, 1 plus 1 is 2. I failed at putting in. I did that earlier today too. That'd be negative 3/4. Thank you. My units are so good though on the degrees Fahrenheit per milligram, right? Okay. So what does this mean in context?
Per milligram of those who fit to the person or lower temperature, 3 points Fahrenheit.
Per milligram, that's given. The temperature will go down negative 3/4 of the degree. Why would sensitivity to medicine be important? If you, I mean, I'm sure they are able to for the most part. Talk about sensitivity as far as like the patient's weight, maybe even their age, maybe their they probably don't have to think about the background as far as the other medication they're on. You guys always know whenever someone's thinking about giving medication, they always want to know everything you're on, right? As far as how they're going to interact, et cetera, et cetera. But how would the sensitivity be applicable in the medical field?
If you have a higher sensitivity, you need to give a lower dosage.
Yeah, you don't necessarily, even though like those over-the-counter medications, do they give a general dosage for adults and kids?
Yeah.
But are there some medicines that, man, we have to figure out like what the body weight is and we need to be, you're just laughing. Be careful as to how much we take or give and when you're, I'm just done, we're moving on. What? Oh my goodness, 2 4s, do 1 Tuesday. Let's keep going to 2 5. All right, do you want to look at the homework and see what's in there? Well, I'm getting the homework problems so you guys can write them down. People that didn't get last night's, you can write down last night's homework as well, yeah? There were a few of you, it's okay.
Because everyone did their homework.
It's okay. Some of you were just trying to make it through the week and I understand. Okay, let me freeze the screen, get down what you need.
Homework number 5, right?
Number 6.
Homework number 6.
Wait, you did 5 already? Yep, that's all.
5 was 2.3.
Six.
Oh, yeah.
Sensitivity. Trouble. Bless you. Oh, we technically went over homework questions, but you guys don't need to write that. Okay, I'm opening up the book real quick so you can see what is in homework. However, as I get the homework ready for us to look at, you guys have it written down?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to turn the back of your spiral. Because I think you kind of need to see something on the homework sheet that you're looking at. What's true about chapter 2 and where we are?
Good test.
We're not done with chapter.
We are done with chapter 2.
Wait, when's the date though?
Yeah, when's the test?
Well,
Wednesday.
I guess we should have a review day. The test will be on Wednesday.
Friday.
And I think that's actually on the calendar as well.
Friday.
No.
It's
Tomorrow? Okay.
No,
That's tomorrow. After
So
Spirit
it is
Day.
the only thing I can ever get help.
As if I wasn't stressed about tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Because we have walkies, we got at 3. That's the only thing that can come up to school to help the test.
Lunchtime. Wednesday morning 0 period. If you can get in. Alright, so since we have a test, so you guys in the back of your spiral workspace, I want you to write down 2, 3, and 2, 4, multiple choice practice. The title, 2, 3, 2, 4, multiple choice practice. On your marks.
Wait.
2, 3, 2, 4, multiple choice practice.
Okay.
Get set.
Can we have a calculator?
Go. Oh, we may use a calculator with these problems. Oh, yeah, then I'll turn the light on. I was trying to John, the answer will always be yes. Unless it's in the middle of the test.
So wait, read. What's my purpose? I'm the lowest ranked for a reason, right? Never mind, one. Wait. I can do this.
Wait.
Number one.
Wait.
Are you guys collaborating already? Can't collaborate on tests.
G? Was that 8? Okay. Indeed. I was 16. That's a lowercase. Oh. That's a lowercase. That's a lowercase. Yeah.
You can do it.
Makes sense.
Alright, so I did it.
I think.
Oh, not D.
Alright, cool kids, for number 1, what'd you do?
Plug in. Plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in. Okay, what was the answer?
1/3.
B? Because you plugged in, well, what was the formula you used? Answer that. F of 3
Minus f of 0.
minus F of 0.
All over 3 minus 0.
Got it, equals 1/3. You guys all agree?
It's not.
Okay, number 2, what'd you do? Why?
Alright,
Because it's not the limit.
Because everything else is
The
true.
limit don't come to.
Limit as x
Limits
approaches
don't
4
agree.
negative, what'd you get as 4 negative?
3.
3.
3.
What is f of 4?
2.
Which is a no, and we could just stop there. Does anybody keep on going to look at it?
That's 3. Yeah.
But the whole point is, do the limits agree with the value?
No.
Yes, good, so E is false. Number 3, is this the one that we got stuck on, or was it number 4?
Wait, how's it B?
That's B.
I did the math.
What?
Plug in x equals
Pause! What was my one?
How would it be, Kyle? It's 5.
y1 was 5, 9 minus 4, and then we needed to find the derivative. The derivative was negative 2 times 2, which would be negative 4. So y ends up equaling
Kyle!
Actually, no, I can't.
Yeah.
plus 13?
Yeah, no way. I cannot add from like.
Each struggle.
Ah, I agree. Well, you guys just saw me do something stupid. Didn't you? Or was it the last class? I don't know. I keep on adding as a class.
I don't like mine.
Yeah. That was it. I didn't do 1 plus 1. Number 4. Did you guys have fun with that one?
Yeah. I don't agree on the seal.
4a. Just plug in, Chuck. What did you get for f of 3?
Negative 3. Yes, that's what I messed up.
Good. 6 minus 9 is negative 3. When we needed to do f of 3 plus h, you guys should have just gotten.
Plug it in.
Squared minus 4.
Don't simplify.
Don't
You want me super sassy, you can just do.
don't simplify.
I simplified.
But if you did simplify, let's reward those people that went above and beyond. We're proud of them.
4h minus h squared.
Oh, that's
Okay,
nice.
pause. Caroline, what'd you get?
Negative h squared minus 4h minus 3.
Back them up?
Yes.
Nicely done. Okay, but we had to keep going to letter C, which what is what we're supposed to do? To take the derivative of the equation? Why? Well, we
Oh,
don't
this
have
is
the
the,
Derivative formula. Definition of a
We just need
derivative.
f prime at 3 because x is 3, true?
That's the.
Then we just needed? No, isn't it?
That's
Yes.
No, but yes, we have value, right?
Oh, you're supposed to find the equation? Okay, that's
No,
the,
but don't we?
well, technically it says the equation, not the limit, so technically you can't go all the way to the derivative, sadly. So f prime of 3 for d, you guys ended up getting 2 minus 2 times 3.
Negative. Wait, so how you see it?
You end up with f of 3 plus h, which you found, or should have found in b. Negative h squared minus 4h minus 3. Minus f of 3, which you found in a, which was negative 3. All over h. What ends up canceling up top? No, not h. 3's cancel. Then we're allowed to say, and h is going to reduce with 1 each. So we're going to end up with the expression negative h minus 4.
Yes.
And how would you have kept going from that for letter D if you didn't know how to take a derivative yet, which theoretically in this book you didn't? The limit as h approaches 0. No, that's for C.
Wouldn't it be negative 7?
No, because it's the limit as h approaches 0, we would then plug it into the limit. And as h approaches 0, 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Done, done. Alan.
Pretty close, though.
Is this gonna be like last year when we only have about like 3 tests per semester?
No, we'll have more because we're going a lot faster. So far we've had the summer review quiz. We've had the polar and parametric one. You've gotten, oh wait, I need to turn things back to you guys.
Exactly, that was pretty close.
And then we're already having chapter 2. Let me go ahead and turn to the homework if you guys want to, what's your first homework question? You guys want to start on homework? Yeah. While I pass back stuff? Alright, ready, set, go. Homework.
So you didn't do yesterday's homework, Katrina? That wasn't the exact list there, but that's pretty close.
Can I have?
Are you remind you of
Corey will pass out because he doesn't want to do his
More
homework.
pass down?
Wait, Corey! He doesn't want to do his homework.
algebra class last year?
You guys mind if Corey passes down through summer review, please?
Oh my gosh, no! No, Corey, no!
Gabby, come on down. Oh, they're all by groups. I can do this fast. Gabby, Caroline,
I don't want to do my
Yay!
Who wrote the joke? Katrina.
That was really blue. I didn't even fail time. Kyle, you got a 10 out of 10, so you need to stop.
I'm confused. I don't want that bad. I have math I do wrong.
I'm surprised we even got half of these right.
Lucy, how dare you?
I got a 6 out of 10. To be honest, I really thought I was getting a 2 out of 10. Yeah, me too.
Really? Just for you.
Hey, did someone explain why 7B does this?
Because it's number of zero.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Aren't you a genius?
Yeah, I just gave it a
Yes.
Yeah, he still gets a 10 out of 10. Kill him.
Since when?
Kill him. The summer packet is a test grade, right? It's worth a test. I think good.
Okay, guys, hold on, pause. The bell's about to ring. I am supposed to report for jury duty on Tuesday. So we'll see.
Just get out of it.
So we'll see. You can call tomorrow, so maybe I'll be free, and if not, then you guys get closer. No, wait, you're the best. No, you don't. Oh, when? Oh, like on Sunday?
Who graded this?
Is that how it works?
It's like excellent
It's
handwriting.
like a holiday weekend.
Oh, where are Saturday. Sunday?
What was your father? He never go. What are you talking about? He never went.
We'll see if I see you on Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
So you don't register to vote?
If I'm not here, you're gonna vote here.
My sister didn't register to vote because she didn't want jury duty, and they still said to start a jury duty. She ended up not getting called. They called for federal jury duty, and she still didn't vote.
There are two students.
They might have dropped.
No, but their names are different.
Oh, Cameron! Surprise, surprise!
Second year, we have this person, and for period 2, and in place of Vicky. And then this person is in period 5, I think. In place of this.
I think this one's dropped, so I still have it. Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, I can't put these two in though. These got moved. See you at Spirit Misty.
Hello, I will send you the pictures. I sit here, so you probably sit right there.
Miss B, they're attacking you in the group chat.
I know! But our phones are supposed to be on Do Not Disturb anyway, right?
Yeah. I was just looking at it just now, and I was like, they're attacking Miss D.
It was hilarious. Oh my goodness.
And then-
See, I sent that one during nutrition. That one was fine.
Oh, did you send one during one of your classes?
I just sent that last one, because then George was like, what? And I'm like, oh, crud. So I had to send it to Mrs.
I can't go
Krabs.
Saturday. We should do it a different
You
weekend.
can't go Sunday?
No. I'm on the weekend.
Oh, you can't do
It's
Sunday.
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, it's
Misty, why'd you play over?
I do in Cal State did, but it's because people have time, theoretically.
Yeah, I guess they do.
Aw, kid.
It's okay.
You keep on missing.
I know. Oh yeah, I missed the last thing.
I know. I was like, I thought we get you on this one.
You know, I do a combo walking.
Where are you guys going? Somewhere fun?
I'm going down to Newport. Yeah.
That's a fun thing to do.
Yeah. And then my brother and I are going to Disneyland on Monday.
They're my dark all
It's a double good thing to do.
Oh yeah.
Fun though.
I know, I thought I could go, and then my parents like told me where we were going, and
You're like, oh well.
I was like,
black.
darn.